All right, hello everyone, it's silverkyle, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Batman Detective Comics by Peter J. Tomasi Omnibus, which came out a few weeks ago. I am a little bit late to the party in terms of talking about this, but here we are nonetheless, taking a look at this beautiful book by DC Comics here. We've got a little bit of information about what's going on with this. Retails for, where is it? $150 in the US, $195 in Canada. I believe I got this for something like 30% off at indigo.ca here in Canada. And this includes Detective Comics 994 to 999, 1001 to 1016, 1018 to 1026, 1028 to 1033, Detective Comics Annual number 2 and 3, Batman Pennyworth RIP number 1, and stories from Detective Comics number 1000. 1027 as well, and Detective Comics 27. Also featuring the Never Forward scripts of Detective Comics 994 and 1004. So this is basically a Creator Central omnibus. So we're getting everything by Tomasi here that he did work on in Detective Comics. So that's why we are missing a few issues here and there, or just aspects of it, like Detective Comics issue number 1000. I still wish that they would kind of include those every once in a while, especially issue 1000. I think that that's just a landmark comic. But either way, here we have the actual hardcover, which does look pretty nice. I think I do prefer the cover that they went with for the flap and for the omnibus itself. And here we do have the flaps as well. I kind of like this. Just a little bit of information. It's well done. Let's just bring this back, and then we can take a closer look at everything. I do really like this here, so we kind of get images of the... Oh, I didn't know that too. A few pages. I almost wish that they would have had this as like a fold out of the Rogues Gallery Batman. Just really nice. That would have been nice to have a big thing of Clayface there. Anyway, what you can... Okay, so this is 982 pages. And if we open it, what's nice is that it does open up quite nicely. The only thing is that it is rather tight, as DC sometimes does, but in terms of everything else, this is really nice, especially when you're comparing it to Marvel, who uses Turkey for whatever reason. iMac in Turkey, it's just absolutely horrible. So positives and negatives, but in terms of the paper quality that they used, it's a lot thicker. There's no see-through. It's really nice. And this was made in... First printing... printed in Quebec, Canada. Nice. They do seem to be using Canada a lot lately in the last few years, I've noticed. We've got the table of contents. It does actually have the dates as well and what issue is included in here. That's something that I always really appreciate and enjoy. And then we dive into the actual issues themselves. Now, there are some variants every once in a while as well, with like kind of breaking things up. So you will see that here and there. I'm just going to try to move this a little bit more to the middle. Looks a little bit better. So what's nice here is that because that it opens up so nicely, at the beginning and near the end, you're not really getting a lot of gutter loss. However, about maybe a quarter of the way through to 3/4 of the way through, within that bulk, you're kind of going to be getting gutter loss, as we're going to see as we kind of go through all of this. They number some of the pages as well here and there. And while I was flipping through, so I have not read this at all, but I've heard some good things about this. And I have read Tomasi's or quite a bit of Tomasi's Batman and Robin, which I did quite enjoy. So I am very much looking forward to this run. The art is really nice too. So now we're starting to get a little bit, and I've stretched this out quite a bit, we're starting to get a little bit more of a bounce back here. And you'll have to, obviously when you actually read it and you're going through page by page and kind of holding things down, you'll be able to stretch it out a little bit better than just the regular stretches that I do. But we're seeing a word bubble here that is kind of like, if I just leave it like that, it's hard to read. When you're like actually pushing it down, you'll be able to read it, but just something to be aware of while you're going through this. Another word bubble up there. That is kind of hard to see unless you really oh, that's even pressing it down and trying to open it up. That's just something to be aware of for those people that do care about that. It's close to the middle there. No real problems with keeping it open though, which I do like considering. Did I mention it was 982 pages? So I was kind of expecting that this wouldn't be like that. I was hoping anyway, but that's DC for you. It's one or the other, right? You either get Marvel with iMac, which I honestly think that because I don't like bleed through, I would prefer to have a book that I have to stretch out a lot harder than I don't know what it is in Canada. We just glue the heck out of these books. Nice paper quality because it's not see-through. There's no bleed through. Just some extras here that we've got. I think there's some scripts in the back. Yeah. Always fun stuff. And some biographies. And there you have it. So I will kind of go in the middle here. That looks about the middle, and I'll show you what the eye looks like. All right, so I am mobile, and this is the eye that we're getting. Not the greatest. I mean, I expected a little bit more, and you can also see the amount of glue that's keeping it so tight. So on the one hand, you could read this quite often, and it's going to keep things intact for quite a few reads, which is a positive, and it opens up perfectly fine, and it stays like, I mean, it's wanting to flip over, but it's not closing it itself, so that's nice. And then at certain aspects or certain parts of the book, it just kind of opens up nicely. It's just, you wish that it would kind of stay like that, but just reading this over and over might release some of that glue, and you might be able to get this to a point where it's not as tight. So there you have it. That is the Batman Detective Comics by Peter J. Tomasi Omnibus. If I can get the slipcover. There you have it. So thank you all for watching. You have been bearded in. Beardage!